Welcome to the Soul Tribe Podcast. The Soul Tribe Podcast was created to help you navigate through the world of spirituality, wellness, and self-development in an easy, grounded, and relatable way. We break down everything from the Akashic Records, manifesting, spirituality, and so much more. We want to help expand your boundaries and bring the spiritual world to you in a fun and easy way. Get ready to be inspired with tips, tools, and easy to digest information. Let's do this.
Hi, everyone, and thanks for listening to us. If you're tuning in, that means that you're listening to our first ever episode of the Soul Tribe Podcast. Thank you so much for giving us a chance and listening to us. I hope that you get as many things as we hope to give you, and we hope to bring you on a path of learning more about yourself and the soulful world around you. Me and my sister Lorena will be hosting. I'm Lucia, and we're going to be going deep into many different subjects, and mostly spiritual, mystical, inner self growing, and we hope to learn and just create this amazing atmosphere and this amazing environment where we can all just learn more about ourselves. Basically, that a space where we can all speak and be a little bit more profound than we are in our day-to-day out in the world.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is about. Hey guys, so this, like Lucia said, this is our very first episode, and we're like super excited. And this episode particularly is about why we started a podcast, what the podcast is about, how we got the idea, and how we feel like this podcast was like a divine message from our masters and our guides and our loved ones. And we'll get right into it. And I think Lucia's going to go on to the first point, but I hope you enjoy it. Thank you.
So mostly this was created through conversations we had about the Akashic Records. And if you don't know what it is, you're going to start learning about it, because we're going to talk about it a lot because we're obsessed with it. We love the Akashic Records. It's made our lives better. It's made many people around us, their lives better too. So we'll get into depths about what the Akashic Records are in other episodes. But mostly we believe that this podcast was created thanks to the Akashic Records. I've been an Akashic Records reader for 8 years now, and my sister already had level 1 for a few years, and she decided not too long ago that she wanted to do level 2, which basically means that she can read other individuals' Akashic Records. And I found that my sister would start calling me and wanted to talk about it or ask me questions. Oh, did this happen to you, or did you find this? And the conversations kind of happened gradually, and then all of a sudden it just happened every day. And it was kind of amazing, and everything kind of started falling into place.
Yeah, it's crazy. I'd be like calling Lucia, I don't know if it was every day, but it was pretty much every day, or messaging sometimes even about spiritual things, like books she was reading, and she'd recommend things. And I found myself like asking her so many questions, and I was not only feeling fulfilled with the Akashic Records readings I was doing, because it was completely different from opening my own, but I felt like we were talking about these amazing subjects and topics, which are not just Akashic Records. It was these profound spiritual things. And I just kept thinking, oh my God, I wish people could listen onto our conversations, or like being able to listen to our voice memos. And I feel like that sparked that message coming through to me, and something came to me and it said, you need to start a podcast. So right away I messaged Lucia, and I was like, we need to start a podcast about the Akashic Records and other things too, like spiritual things. But yeah, I sent her that message, and I think, Lucia, you said, right on, let's do it.
Yeah, it was I think I just responded okay. And I didn't doubt it, and I didn't even think about it. I'm like, oh yeah, okay, makes sense. It felt like it made sense, and I've learned through the years that when something just feels like it makes sense, it's for a reason, and nothing's a coincidence, and there's a reason why you came to me and said, hey, let's start this, and I just went, oh, okay, very gradually. But also I feel like everything, it's like pieces of a puzzle, like everything in life. It's like pieces of a puzzle that all fell into place and happened in this amazing way where it just feels like a divine plan. And so, for example, I had moved to Holland recently. I live here for a year now, and I came here originally to do a coding course because I just always liked coding. I always was really interested in it, and I was like, oh, I just want to properly learn how to do this. Maybe one day do it as a job, but I just want to learn it. I didn't really have a reason behind it more than I just found it kind of like something passionate, something that made me more creative. And Lorena has been working in a marketing company for many years, and she knew how to get, organize and make projects and create things for companies and promote things. And she's very organized. And I'm more like the crazy sister, and Lorena's more like the organized sister. And I had the coding skills, and Lorena has the graphic designer and marketing skills. And as a team, we always got along very well. And it seemed meant to be. It was kind of crazy in a way too.
Yeah, like when I first got the idea, I'm like, are we even capable of doing a podcast? Like, and that's when we started researching because I knew like the marketing side and the graphic design side and the coding side, like we were all set with that. We knew what we were doing, and if we didn't, we'd figure it out. But I feel like with the actual starting a podcast, I wasn't sure what the heck to do. It was kind of like, all right, let me Google it. Let's look it up. And then between the two of us, we were just kind of looking up information. And the sole purpose of the podcast was just to bring information to people. It was nothing else. It wasn't ever an idea of like making money off it or anything like that. It was just literally people being able to listen to our conversations and to learn more about the Akashic Records and anything spiritual that we feel that we've gone through or that people that we talk to are going through, because we do see patterns with readings, and I feel like a lot of those things will come up in future podcast episodes. But it was just so weird looking up information on and we're like, yeah, we can do this, like this isn't so hard. We just need to get our ideas together. The hard part was getting like the actual concept of the podcast together, but we had a very clear vision, I think, between the two of us. Even though it popped into my head, it organically like kind of created itself, and we were like, all right, this is how we're going to do it, this is the artwork, this is what we're going to talk about. Like we started doing notes together, so it was it flowed. Like I feel like it flowed, don't you?
Yeah, it flowed, but also I didn't realize it till much after we had started planning it that I was really starving for talking to someone about spiritual things and just learning more about it because, as you knew, I was reading like 3 books a week.
Yeah.
Like I was just like swallowing these books up because I wanted to know more and I wanted to learn more and I just wanted to like throw myself in that world even more than I was already there. But since I had no one to do it with, I relied on books. So I just kept on buying books, and every week I'd read 2 or 3 books, and then I'd be like, okay, what else? What do people recommend spiritual books? And I'd look it up, and then I'd order that one, and anxiously wait for it to get to the house. And so, funny enough, you started level 2,
Mm.
and I'm in that same phase where I kind of want to talk about it too. I just didn't realize I wanted to talk about it. I wanted to be in it more. I was putting myself in it on my own by myself. And I think you were the one that realized, well, I want to do that too. Why don't we just do it together? And the funny part about the name was, remember, I don't know if you remember, Lorena, but we were throwing back and forth names like, okay, what do we need to call our podcast? And this is what we want it to be about. So maybe this and that. And the Soul Tribe came from actually a book I was reading at the time, where they talked about the theory of like how souls work and how as like the Akashic Records talk about, we all travel in groups. Souls travel in groups, and we'll reincarnate, right? And we'll be with the same group of souls. We'll just have different roles in each other's lives. Like one year, one life you can be my mom, and then another life you're my sister. Maybe the next one I'm your father, and so we all travel together as souls, but we just reincarnate into different kind of individuals for each other. But we're a soul, and it's a tribe, so we're our soul tribe. And so that's kind of where what the book was talking about. And I thought, oh my God, what about the soul tribe, like, or tribe of souls, or soul tribes, or something? And then that's how the name came out.
Yeah, the name was pretty hard to figure out, I think, at first, until you had that kind of that kind of idea. And I was like, that's perfect. Sounds great. And it looked great. And we're like, all right, cool. And then all the other stuff kind of just worked itself out. We didn't really have to stress out about it or go out of our way. Like, obviously we have to, like, make time for a recording, but these topics and these chats, we were already kind of having them anyway, right? So it's not like we're doing anything. We're doing something we'd be doing anyway in some way or another.
Yeah, we're just
So yeah,
bringing
I mean, yeah,
in to be able to listen to it, which is what we want.
yeah, exactly. That's exactly what we wanted. We wanted to be able to have something that people can, like, listen to and understand and get more info from without just having to Google it, from like actual experience. And that's also why the idea, I think, behind later on bringing on guests. Like, we're meeting such amazing women and just people in general in different areas of healing, spirituality, and we really want people to tell their story, of how they got to where they got and why they started doing what they did and how they feel fulfilled by it and how they're changing people's lives, I think, more than anything. Because I think that's why we do what we do with the Akashic Records. We want to help people and we feel a calling to it and a purpose from it. So yeah, I mean, the main idea with that is us telling our story, but also later on bringing some guests on. So that will definitely be a part of the show later on. We haven't planned out that far yet, but we will also be later on reaching out to people and asking people for their opinion on what they want to hear about, and then we can look for experts, or we can research topics, or we might already know something about what people are asking. So it's also about us learning too, right?
Yes, definitely. We want to learn with everyone. That's the idea.
Yeah, that's basically what's the whole podcast is about. I don't
And I
know if I
like
have.
definitely want to learn about, I don't know, different aspects of being spiritual. We want to talk about how it's not easy to be connected, and like, life is life and it's the same for everybody. Even a spiritual person or someone who's trying to be more spiritual, you collide with what life is, and like it can get busy and it can get messy, and how you can stay grounded, and we want to figure out the best way to do that. And maybe other people can come into the conversation and we can all, throw ideas out. Well, I do this and this works for me, and well, I do this. So we'll be talking about many different, tools that you can use to help you get more grounded, and what we know would help and what we think might help, and let's all try it out together maybe, and we can report back, and like we can test it out and experiment. We want to be open, right?
Yeah, it's definitely open, and we're open to changing the format, changing the topics we talk about. Like, it doesn't have to just be the Akashic Records and like Reiki and crystals or manifesting. It could be anything, literally anything. But I do agree that's a big part of, I think, why we started this as well, because it's very hard sometimes when you feel like you're surrounded by people that might not necessarily be on the same path as you. So it's important to have someone you can listen to or talk to that kind of feels the same way you do. So that's
Mm-hmm.
also a reason, I think, behind the podcast, where we were kind of feeling, well, at least I was, and I know Lucia in some ways was as well, feeling very alone in her
Mm-hmm.
in her path, like at least not having people next to us that were talking about these things. Where that for me
Yeah.
has changed just a little bit, but not really. Like, I don't know if I don't really talk to anybody about this except you or people on, like, specific groups I'm on social media, or people I've actually met through the Akashic Records. So it's funny because that is a big part of this, and we'll be talking about that for sure in another episode. We have that planned
I mean, it's fun. It is
specifically.
funny because I've been doing this for 8 years, and I've been assisting others with their readings for 8 years, but I've never actively promoted myself. And it's not because I thought it was taboo, but because I just had another job and I had a life, and I was just doing it because I wanted to help others, because the Akashic Records had helped me so much. So for many years, I didn't really talk to anybody about it, except for the person that was coming to me for a reading. And so I'd have that hour and a half with that person where I got to talk about the Akashic Records, and I would leave the reading feeling amazing. And so I loved doing it because not only did I see the other person improve their life, or it helped them feel better, or help them understand something they needed to understand, it was amazing because you leave the reading feeling good, because you're connected to a higher energy than yourself, and because you saw how you helped. And so it's kind of something that I always always continued doing without discussing it really with anybody around me. I mean, some people that, that were really close to me found out years later, what, you do what? I was like, oh yeah, I never told you, because I would forget to tell people about it. Yet
It's
I
so
always still
true.
had readings. It was like a friend of a friend would give my number to a friend to a friend. So it's like I never really actively went out and promoted myself and talked about it. But now, yeah, now I'm ready to. And that's when you came talk to me about it. I'm like, yeah, you know what? I think that was why my okay was so just like, okay, because I totally felt, yeah, you know what? It's time to talk about it.
Yeah. And I think we've helped each other out in that sense, and we've kind of inspired each other in so many ways because um, I was at a point when I went to do my second level that I was just like, I don't care what people think. Like, this is what I'm doing. This is what my soul is calling me to do. And if people don't like it, they don't have to like it. I don't care. It was kind of like that. And you know what? I'm going to talk about it because I feel so fulfilled by it and I'm helping so many people with it. Like, I need to talk about this. Like, this is so important to me. And I'm not in a pushy way and not in a way, like, I'm just mentioning it. Like, oh, this is what I do. And if you're interested, yeah, like, I can do this for you, or I can help you, or I can help somebody. And this is how it is, and this is how it works. And I don't push it on anybody. I don't like that, and I don't think we're about that. But we're more about at least people having information and options and tools, because the Akashic Records are a tool. It's an amazing tool. Not only if you open your own, but if you open other people's, because you learn from it. You learn about yourself, and you have an extra. It's something extra in your tool bag to connect to yourself and to understand yourself
I mean, I
better.
could talk another hour about the Akashic Records, but I think that's
I
like
know.
we just did a whole another episode about
I
the Akashic
know.
Records.
I'm like going all over the
Because I want to
place.
like chime in and say more stuff about it, but like this is gonna carry out too long. So
Yeah.
maybe let's just make a whole another episode where we just talk about the things that we want to talk about the Akashic Records.
Yes, we're going to do that for sure.
Cool.
So I don't know if we have anything else really to say about the podcast. You
No,
know,
basically it. What we want, what our goal is, and our goal is to involve everyone and help ourselves and everyone else that listens with us, grow, inspire each other. Eventually, if things go well, we can create a community where we can all help each other out. Give each other advice if we need it. Um,
yeah,
the sky's the limit, man. The sky's the limit.
yeah, completely. And there's a reason we started this. So I feel like it's going to become something way bigger. And I feel like we're going to be able to help way more people, and people are going to be able to help us. It's going to be that. It's going to be a community for sure.
Yeah. Yep.
Okay, so I think with that, let's wrap up the episode.
Yep.
If I'm not mistaken, Lucia, we're going to be launching 5 episodes, so this will be just one of the many that you can listen to at the beginning of the launch of our Soul Tribe podcast. So enjoy, and feel free to reach out to us through our website or through our social media. We'll have everything in the description bar for the episode. So
Well,
you
just a
feel free
link.
to.
The website is www.thesoultribepodcast.com.
Yes.
And the link to our Instagram is on the bottom of the website.
Yeah, and we will eventually create a Facebook group, but we're holding off right now for that. And yeah, any questions or if anyone has any idea of topics they want to listen to about, or subjects they want us to talk about, anything, just reach out to us. We'll be more than happy to take that into consideration.
Yeah, they can contact the website
Yeah,
also, so they can just shoot us, an email, and we'll go from there.
perfect. I love it. Thanks so much for tuning in, guys, and we'll see you on the next episode.